Hey everyone, it's Mike from Junkie Crafts and Builds, and at the tail end of 2025, the Marvel Legends team has dropped a few more figures out for us to look at. And now we have the latest Spider-Man wave, comic version, animated, whatever these things are. But right now we're going to look at the Marvel's Owl. Yeah. So this is Leland Owlsley. He was a ruthless financier. Even though he was, he had a nice public image and all that other stuff with crazy hair, but he was audited and found out he had a bunch of illegal business enterprises. So he decided to get rid of his image and become a crime lord. Yeah, so he hired thugs, and apparently he decided to be an owl for his last name. Then he had got a serum that allows him to glide or even fly or whatever. And he's a foe of Daredevil and obviously Spider-Man. So that's as deep as I'm going to go with this guy. Anyway, this is the packaging. It's kind of what we're used to seeing. We got this really gnarly looking image of the owl. I like it more than what I see here. We are 4+ Legends, blah, blah, blah. Big blister card. And on the back, we have the cross-sell of all the other figures in the wave, and then a little brief bio of the owl with this digital render. Yep, there is our UPC for those that need to look for this guy. So let's just get him out of this package. And here we have the owl out of his package, and it's a Legends figure. It has some good points, but it also has some very outstanding, not so great points. Some of which I'll talk about, but we'll go through the aesthetics of this guy first. So zooming in here, we got a nice aesthetic of the face, and it's a mix of like realism and comic cartoonish look. His head's really big compared to the body when we do some simple part swaps, but the sculpt work itself, the design, it's the Hasbro team. They do good head sculpts. This one's just, a little big. And he's got a little bit of like shadow. I don't know how well it's coming up here because I had to brighten up the view, but he's got like this shadow print under his eyes to kind of darken him, like he's been up all night as an owl. But anyway, there's the back. We got this big swoopy piece of hair. We got one piece across the top and then another piece across the bottom. It's a new sculpt, so you can't really say anything bad. Like I said, the print itself is pretty good on it. Going down, the main feature is he's got this big, long cloak, coat, whatever you want to call it, in multiple layers. It works to a point, to the fact that you're not really going to be doing too much awesome posing with this guy because it's all this PVC overlay, so really, it's blocking a lot of stuff, which we'll get into an articulation. The arms, that kind of go with this, but they're kind of hard to move around. We got this sculpted in like a sleeve that's cut for the articulation on the closed fisted hands here, which comes in the box. Then he's got these, I don't know if he's holding the claws or if they're embedded in his hand. I'm assuming he's holding them because of the accessory that we'll go through. But these are the silvery plastic claws. Problem is they're not attached. So these things I nearly lost twice just getting them out of the package. And he has ugly looking hands because of that. So you can't really have the closed fist without the claws because they look like poo. Continuing on, we got a nice sculpt work here, like I said, on the cloak. We've got this inner layer jacket. That's a softer PVC than the outer jacket. It's a smooth enough sculpt. We got, big deep pockets. We got a zipper sculpted in. It's got a collar. The other thing is he's got a big old red scarf, which at first, when I took him out, I was worried that it was glued in place. but you can remove it. So it's just, this could be an accessory in and of itself. But now you can see the turtleneck underneath here. Kind of a weird sculpt. As you can see, it doesn't match at all. This is painted for the hard plastic crotch area here, and then you got this softer plastic here for the turtleneck. So it's kind of a hard plastic. Then we got these plain green pants, slacks, whatever you want to call. Decent enough sculpt. Everything's pinless. And then we got his boots, right? And they're kind of a shiny look compared to the matte of the rest of the figure. So he's not horrible, but I don't know. You're going to get him in some vanilla poses, and that's about it. So let's zoom back out and check out the accessories he comes with. So like I said, out of the box, he has these closed fists with these claws attached. But he also comes with a pair of alternate hands, which are kind of asymmetrically sculpted, reachy claw, crabby fingers. They're soft, very soft, rubbery plastic. They both have horizontal hinges, so he can get there and get that menacing look, like, I'm coming after you. His final accessory, yes, I said final accessory, is his owl. It's a static piece that he can hold like this, but it's a decent enough sculpt. I mean, the paint work on it for the face is good. It does have a little bit of a shading around the body for the feathers and such, and the feet, I think, are not painted. Nope. But it's a basic static item. So he can hold it, and he can hold it, and at least he can hold it well. Yeah. So let's just see how well this is gonna articulate. So let's talk about articulation. We'll start with the head. He can look up that far before you pull him off, and he's got the ball peg system here. But yeah, the hole in the head is cut really deep, so he's not going to get much of a look up. Really not a lot down, but I mean, better than up. You can rotate, you can get some decent, tilt. You can give some attitude or some menacing look. So I mean, that, I'm saying this lately, that at least gives some character to the figure. But I mean, for someone who's going to fly or float, he's definitely not going to be looking upwards. Anyway, so let's see how the arms go. So with this big overlay, right, and I just stretched it right there by lifting it up and tore it. Anyway, so you can get up that far, you can get out. Joints are tight, but right to there. Any further, you're going to start stressing and tearing your jacket like I just did mine. So that kind of stinks. I mean, you can lift it up and it's going to stretch right there, but it's also going to lift the jacket up high. Yeah, so you can rotate back, yay. But outwards, you can get, there's the T-pose right there, right? Or the 90, I should say. But if you're going to push it from here instead of here, because we've got some very soft PVC arms. All right, moving on. We've got a bicep cut that's straight with a little bit of a bump. You got to pull this up. Kind of see how it kind of rotates up. I can show you a little bit better when I push it down and stretch that plastic. But you got that. You've got 90-degree arms that, if you put it back straight, you're going to get this hyperextended bump, which looks horrible. But we do have some nice texture on the jacket. I forgot to mention that here for the aesthetic. So that's a nice look, but you're going to get over 90. To me, this is kind of simulating what they did with that Gamerverse Wolverine from this year, only it doesn't look as good because this should have been pulled down a little further to help not only keep that from hyperextending backwards, but it would have looked nicer, in my opinion. Got a black dot there for the button. I mean, the buttons are painted, I should say that. But yeah, so we already talked about the hands, soft, rubbery, horizontal. Here's another horizontal, and I put the wrong hand on them. That's my bust. But horizontal hinges, again, watch these because they'll fall out at a whim. So we'll put the right hand on because I can't stand not having that. There we go. All right, so let's see how the torso handles things. So again, we got two types of plastic. We got the softer, well, this one's softer than this hard plastic. There's my plastic expert, y'alls. All right, so what do we got? Ooh, we got a tight torso for the twist. How do we bend? Let me straighten his legs. We don't get a bend down pretty at all, really. What about backwards? I'm not going to get much of a backwards bend because of the jacket, and it's got a really odd cut right across the torso. It looks, I don't like it. I don't like the look of him at all. This is not good. You know, this is the torso. This is your whole torso twist. You're blocking it because you got these multiple layers of heavy plastic that are going to block your articulation, but then you don't even make it a good articulated joint. You got some nice sculpt, yeah, that's great, but you can't, what am I going to do? I can't pose a guy who's supposed to be floating. Anyway, do we have drop downs? No drop downs. With that hard plastic, you're going to get up to there. Any further, you're going to start denting in here. You got your thigh cut. Double jointed pinless knees are double jointed and pinless. And they can go like that. Ugly looking cut, but it is there. And then we have no boot cut. Everything's here at the front facing pin. So you can go down like that, ugly. You can only go up, well, you can't go up at all. And then you got your pivot. So that's your articulation for, can hold it? Is he gonna hold it? Hey, for the owl. So let's do some quick comparisons. So for comparisons, I couldn't find my Maximum Spider-Man. He's somewhere. I don't know where he's at. But anyway, what we got instead here is two other Spider-Mans. We got the MCU Final Flight Suit Holland Spider-Man. And then we have the third-party Mess Toys. What's he called? He is called the Black Suit Neighbor. Basically a Revotech 2.0 body of the symbiote Spider-Man. And again, matching it all together, if you want a hyper-articulated Spider-Man to go with a non-articulated villain, there you got those two. To highlight the Owl's other hero, protagonist, whatever you want to call it, we have the MCU Daredevil from Daredevil Born Again, a really good figure that came out this year, and it's still, I see him on Walmart shelves all the time. Pick him up and check out my review. I'll put it up in this corner up here. And then we also have the Mafex comic book version of Daredevil. I put a wash on this guy and he'll fit in great with the Born Again, or you can fill in your comic versions with the Mafex, or if you get the CT Toys, you can get that for a lot cheaper. So to continue on with some NPC type of characters, we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Legacy Collection ECU Police Officer and the Operation Monster Force Black Watch Agent. And here we go with some other figures across various lines. new and old. We got the Fortnite, whatever this white guy bruiser is with the skinny legs. We've got the Valaverse Deus de la Mortas Sidewinder. We got the female Electro Francine something or other. And then we have the Flex Hobby Acid Rain 1/12 scale military figures here to kind of mix and match whatever your heart's desire. So final impressions of the Spider-Man wave, Marvel's The Owl. I don't know, guys. I know I've seen a lot of figures this year and try my best to just, to be honest about it, this is not a good figure. It looks good, but looks, and I can't even say it looks good. There are some parts that are really nicely done. You know, the face in that, again, between the mix of cartoon and realistic look, Hasbro kills it with the face sculpts. But it's just a failure of execution for everything else. The overlays for the jacket, again, hinder articulation and are also detrimental to anything else, because if you start pressing the articulation, you're going to tear the jacket all up, especially the shoulders. The cut across the body here is just dumb. I don't like it. I don't. You don't get any articulation because of how the arc is cut on the body here. And it's not even the same color, you know, or even the same texture towards the bottom, because it's two different pieces of plastic for the mold. And pieces of them fall apart. I mean, I like I said, I nearly lost these claws when I was taking them out of the package because they just popped and flew all over the place, you know, and you can't even use these properly afterwards because they look like crap. And if you have the turtleneck with long sleeves, but you put it on this hand, right? You put the sculpt in there, but you didn't put it on this, because these are probably reused from some other figure. It's not a well executed figure at all. And if you're going to buy a lot of these others in the wave, what do we got here? Let me look at the cross. I forget which ones I bought so far, but I mean, look at this cross sell. All right, right now, if this guy is anything to talk about these other ones, this wave is not a great wave. The Owl, if I have to give a rating, which I told reviewers had to give ratings now, I'm only going to do a 1 to 3 because I don't feel like going into detail. 1 being other crap, 2, 3 being, yeah, buy this guy. This guy's a 1. Secondly, like I said, poorly executed, minimal accessories, and he retails for $27.99, people. Please don't do what I did and buy this at full price. So that's my impressions of this figure. Again, not really happy with him, but he's going to look great getting beat up by a bunch of superheroes. Anyway, thank you guys for watching as always. I know it's been a minute, but I'm trying to come back harder here in 2026 now that the holidays are done. And, you know, again, like, share, comment, hype, whatever the jargon is. I really appreciate you taking the time to look at this guy with me. And stick around for the next video, which is going to be here, or subscribe in here. Enjoy your toys. Thanks again. Bye.